It had been a whole month since Peter recovered his memories of his first life. Things had been going well. To begin with, his trips to the gym had been favorable, he was getting stronger. It was Monday, and right now he was in his room quietly while he was waking up. It was 7 a.m. Then he got up and pointed me to the window while sighing. "Peter, well, what things will you show me today, New York?" he said, looking at the sky, smiling. "But there's something in that leaves me shocked." "Peter, what the hell?" An immense light covered the whole world and was approaching, taking everything in its path and coming in his direction. He was scared by that. He crouched down and closed his eyes. Finally the light had reached him and he was consumed by it. After 1 minute, because of fear, Peter did not open his eyes or make any movement, but he gathered his courage and decided to open his eyes slowly. When he did so, he noticed that everything was the same. The light had disappeared, everything looked calm. "Peter, boo, but what the F was that?" he asked with a trembling voice. "I can answer that." Peter, hearing a voice behind him, turns around and sees someone he already knew well sitting on his bed, looking at him calmly. "Peter, am Mr. the One above all?" I asked, very surprised. "The One, himself. It's good to see you and see that you're living well, boy," he said, smiling slightly. "Peter, thanks. Wait. You said you knew what just happened. If so, what just happened?" he said, wanting an answer. "The One, okay, I'll make it easy for you. Does an event known as House of M ring a bell?" "Me, it's a joke, right? Because if it is, I hope it is a joke," I thought, afraid of remembering that event. "The One, no, unfortunately it is not. Just a few moments ago, some dimensions of my multiverse were altered by the woman known as Wanda Maximoff or Scarlet Witch," she said calmly, "but you should know that the Wanda who did this is not from Earth 616, but is a Wanda from another Earth. This one is 10 times more powerful than Wanda 616, and when she reached mental imbalance, her power not only altered her reality, it surpassed the borders of her dimension and unconsciously and without her knowing it affected other Earths, not all, but some, including this Earth," I finished saying calmly. Peter's mouth was open at what he had heard. House of M had not only occurred on Earth 616, but also in another reality, and Earth 24616 was affected by the power of that Wanda who is apparently stronger than the original. This is crazy. "Peter, was my Earth affected? But if so, what alterations did Wanda's power cause in my reality?" he asks, somewhat exasperated. "The One, I could tell you now, but it's better that you discover it. Also, I must not waste time. I must go to other Earths to inform other young people that I gave them the opportunity to be reborn like you, and that their realities were also altered. But do not worry, this was not for bad nor will it cause the destruction of the planet if that is what you are wondering." "Peter, but if there were alterations, it can be restored, right?" I ask hopefully. "Tell me everything can be restored." "The One, I don't know that, only time and the author's decisions will decide," he said calmly. "Peter, it can't be," he said, sitting me down on the bed with a sigh. "It's only been a month since I recovered my memories and I'm trying to adapt to this dimension, and it turns out that everything I knew was changed." "The One, calm down, boy, not everything was changed, just some things, but it's better that you discover what changes there are. But as I told you, it wasn't for the worse, fortunately. Anyway, my work of informing you about the current situation is over. Other lands await me to visit to inform the reincarnated like you about what happened. It's been good to see you," he said, getting up. "Peter, thanks, I think," he said without much enthusiasm. The One nodded as he dissolved into particles of golden light, signaling that he was leaving that Earth. Peter just gave a bitter sigh at what was happening. He couldn't believe it. "Peter, barely 1 month since I recovered my memories and everything I know about this reality was changed. Well, some things, damn Wanda." But he immediately covers his mouth for what he had just said while a feeling of regret invaded him for what he said, because he could not blame or hate Wanda for what happened. He knew that she had been through a lot since she was just a child. Damn, it was clear that her mind would collapse from past traumas. He really shouldn't have insulted her, because she is not Vision 616, damn it. After a few minutes, his memories begin to be altered and begin to change, being replaced by others, but he did not feel pain, but a slight dizziness. After a few moments he would feel better, but then a memory comes that left him in complete shock. "Peter, what the hell?" He quickly went to a drawer and started to look at many old magazines. He searched and searched quickly, until he found what he was looking for, a very old newspaper, and when he read it he was shocked by what it said. Daily Bugle, year 2002. 35-year-old man killed in armed robbery, Ben Parker shot dead by assailant. Peter, no, it can't be. Peter would be in shock by what he read. Uncle Ben was dead. This was a hard blow for him. He begins to remember his new memories where Uncle Ben was loving with him and cared for him like a son. When he found out about his death, he didn't stop crying for 1 week. The brown-haired boy just keeps the newspaper, and I sat on the bed. It was hard to know that my reality was altered and that in this new version of Earth 24616 Uncle Ben was dead. Peter, TCH. Shit. Peter would open a drawer in a nightstand and see a photo. Peter, it throws me off a bit to know that on this Earth Uncle Ben looks like Tobey Maguire. It even makes me laugh a little, I said that when I saw the photo. At that moment, she heard someone knocking on the door. She turned her gaze to see who had entered, and when she saw the person who had entered the room, she couldn't believe it. May, good morning tough guy, time to get up, the gym left you tired, but you still have to go to classes. Peter, Aunt May? I screamed in total shock. May, whoa. What's wrong Peter? Of course it's me, you look like you've seen someone completely different. Peter, no. No, it's not that, it's just. The blouse. Yes. I've never seen that blouse before. Is it new? He asked, sweating from nervousness to see who his Aunt May was now. May, what? Peter, I've had this blouse for 2 years. You really need to skip school and get out more. Come on, young man, let's get changed for class. She said, closing the door while smiling at him. Peter was like WTF, my Aunt May was now the one from the MCU, the one from Earth 199,999. Peter, great. What else could go wrong? He looked out the window and yes. Peter, I live in Queens now. He began to do a quick analysis of his new memories. To begin with, Harry's was the same, his parents were scientists, they died when he was 3 years old. His now new Aunt May worked in a hospital. She saw more things that were almost the same as before the dimensional alteration. Without further ado he changed and went to the living room to have breakfast, then he grabbed his things to leave. May, did you forget anything? Peter, everything in its place, time to go, I love you May. He gives her a hug and then leaves what seemed to be an apartment instead of a house.
Peter, that's great, back to trying to get used to these new memories and life confirmed. I don't hate Wanda, but I do hate the events of House of M. I hope everything goes back to normal.
At that moment he heard a door open. He turned his gaze and was slightly surprised to see who was coming out of what was apparently his apartment, although he had been expecting it in some part. Mary Jane, hello Peter, good morning, she said smiling beautifully as she stood next to me. Peter, good morning MJ, he said trying to assimilate the situation. Mary Jane, hey, my Aunt Anna is happy that you fixed the air conditioner, and she wants to invite you to dinner tonight as compensation. You should come, I want you to come too. She looked him straight in the eyes. Peter, oh yeah, that was a pleasure. It's true, these new memories show me that I did something like that 2 days ago of course, why not, I'll be happy to come. Peter, oh yeah, that was a pleasure. It's true, these new memories show me that I did something like that 2 days ago sure, why not, I'll be happy to come. Mary Jane, great. I'll be waiting for you tonight. But for now, let's go, we're running late to high school. To his surprise, Mary Jane Watson was pulling on his arm as she walked beside him with a big smile directed at him. He only thought one thing. Peter, what kind of place is this? After about 30 minutes of walking they arrived at the entrance of the academy, where he noticed how MJ was still holding his arm. Mary Jane, I'm sorry but this is where we part ways. I have language class and you have history class. See you later? Peter, sure, see you. Mary Jane, great, see you later Tigra. And as if things couldn't get any crazier, Mary Jane Watson gives him a kiss on the cheek as she leaves and waves her hand as she walks away. She notices her friends who were apparently the same in this new altered universe. She leaves with them, but before entering she sees me one last time and then winks at me, thus disappearing from my sight. Peter, what the hell is going on here? What kind of Wanda Maximoff altered Earth did I end up in? I asked very confused. He would look at his watch and see that he still had 10 minutes to spare. Peter, I need to analyze my new memories. I'll take advantage of these 10 minutes I have to find out what the hell is going on here. With that, he heads to an empty bench in the high school garden, sits down, and closes his eyes as he begins to delve into his new memories. Peter, from what I see now, to begin with, the fact that Harry Osborn went to England 3 years ago to study was still the same. Oscorp Industries is the same as in Andrew Garfield's universe. May is obviously younger, in addition to being from Tom Holland's universe. Now I live in an apartment next to May, and Mary Jane came to live with her Aunt Anna Watson because she couldn't stand the arguments she had with her parents day and night anymore. Poor thing, her parents were still the same, but why is it like this with me now? Wait a minute, what is this? Flashback 8 years ago. In a park, there were children playing happily. Far away from them, there was a little red-haired girl who looked about 9 years old. She was alone. She was just swinging alone on the swing while she was a little sad. Hey. MJ, huh? The girl looks up, noticing a boy with brown hair, apparently a year older than her, with hazel eyes and wearing slightly large glasses. Peter, are you okay? Why aren't you playing with the other kids? I asked curiously. MJ, they don't want to play with me, they make fun of my hair, he said sadly, stroking his hair. Peter, your hair? Why? MJ, they say I look like a talking tomato, he said sadly. Peter, what? That's not true, do you know why they say that? MJ, why? Peter, because they're jealous of you. MJ, envy? Peter, yes. Envy. Your hair is the most beautiful I've ever seen, they're envious. MJ, do you think my hair is pretty? Peter, yes, sir. He nodded firmly. But she nodded so hard that her glasses fell off. The red-haired girl takes the glasses and gives them back to me. Peter, thanks, hey, why don't you play with me? He smiles at her. MJ, really? She sounded happy. Peter, sure, I can be your first friend, and you would be my first friend, what do you say? MJ, of course. She sounded excited. Peter, great, by the way, my name is Peter Parker. MJ, and I'm Mary Jane. They both were about to play, but then they saw another girl in the distance. Peter, will you wait for me a moment? MJ, huh? Why? Peter, she seems to be alone too, I want to invite her to play with us, can I? MJ, sure, it will be more fun if there are more of us. Peter, thanks, wait for me here. The boy would go to the lonely girl, but then everything starts to look blurry and then. Peter. End of flashback. The memories had been interrupted when he felt someone calling him. Peter. Peter, oh? He turns his gaze to see who was calling him. Gwen, good morning Peter. Peter, oh, hi Gwen, how are you? Gwen, well, how much did you think you couldn't hear me? Peter, no, nothing, just meditating, that's all. Hello. They both turned their eyes to see who was speaking. Laura, good morning. Peter/Gwen, hello Laura. Gwen and Peter looked at each other and then laughed lightly. Peter, at least Gwen and Laura are still the same. Hey, nice hairstyle, it suits you Laura, he smiles at her. Laura, in fact, I woke up late, and because I was in a hurry I didn't comb my hair, she said a little embarrassed. Peter, oh yeah? Well, let me tell you, you still look incredible. You definitely have natural beauty. Laura, you, shut up, she looked away, but a slight red tint was visible on her cheeks. Gwen, by the way Laura, I don't know you very well, but I noticed that you hardly talk to anyone in the salon except for us, why? Laura, well, I only give my trust to those I can trust, that's simple, she spoke simply. Peter, and I'm one of them? I'm honored. Laura, don't exaggerate, but, thank you. Gwen, well, it's time to go to class, let's go. Peter, come on Laura. The brunette would take her hand to leave, but then she quickly lets go while she looked very nervous. I could see how she held her hands, I already knew what it was. Peter, sorry Laura, I didn't mean to be inappropriate. Laura, no. It's not that, it's that, Peter, hey, calm down, if it's something you can't say, then don't do it. When you feel safe, we can talk, okay? She is surprised by his words, but then smiles at him somewhat sadly. Laura, thanks Peter, and I'm sorry. Peter just nods as they head to class. Everything will go normally, classes arrive at midterm, and it was time for recess. The three of them met at the usual table, chatting and laughing. Then Peter sees Mary Jane at another table with her friends. She sees him and smiles at him while waving her hand. Her other friends see her and make a face of disgust. Parker didn't give a damn. Then he sees them talking to Mary Jane while pointing at Peter in a contemptuous way. At least pretend you're fucking bitches. I couldn't hear them, but I could see how the redhead gave them a dirty look while moving her lips in an annoying way. I could see how the bitches she has as friends sighed while apparently ending the discussion and preferred to change the subject. Peter, is it me or am I defending myself? I mean, I've seen comics where on other Earths when she meets Peter they become very close in the short time they have known each other, like MJ from the 2017 Spider-Man series. so her acting that way shouldn't surprise me, but it's still inevitable, and from what I saw in my new memories, I've known her since she was a child. I'll try to remember more later. After this, classes continued normally, but before leaving class, the teacher would say something. Teacher, attention students, I have good news, thanks to Miss Stacy's influence for being an intern. This Wednesday we will take an exploratory trip to Oscorp Industries to learn about its interiors and scientific wonders, I would say with a big smile. Peter, upon hearing that, felt his heart begin to beat strongly with emotion. He already knew what would happen on Friday, his destiny was going to change forever. Peter, yes. Screams at the top of his lungs. But he regrets it because he noticed how everyone looked at him and some of them started to laugh. Shit. Flash, ha ha ha, only a brainiac like Parker would get excited about that, he said laughing mockingly, and some followed him. Peter, and if you better close your little mouth before I close it for you, he said rudely. Students, Flash saw him angry and Peter does the same. Laura, that's it Parker, you prove that you don't let yourself be, she whispered to me with a smile while giving him a thumbs up. Gwen, Peter, the blonde was worried. And a redhead in the distance also looked just like Gwen. Teacher, very well, that's enough. Mr. Parker, Mr. Thompson, calm down. He said firmly. Peter just sits down with a sigh. After 3 hours the class is concluded. Another thing he discovered is that Laura was a little smarter than in the previous world, so in this new reality she never asked him to help her, she didn't care much, so she had more time for himself. When everyone left high school, Peter was walking quietly home, but then, 4 guys got in my way. Many students around watched this carefully. One more came out, the brown-haired boy just sighed when he knew who it was. Flash, Parker, you're not getting away this time, he cracked his fists. Peter, you know Flash, right now I would gladly accept your invitation to fight, but I don't feel like it today, so if you'll excuse me. Flash, ha ha ha. And you think I'm just going to let you walk away like that, Parker? His friends laughed too. Peter, no, and that's why we're going to play something called, Catch Me If You Can. Without waiting any longer, he started running in the opposite direction. Flash, what are you waiting for, you idiots? Let's go. Thompson and the others began to chase Parker, the students began to talk, but Peter didn't care, he just kept running through the open field while Flash's classmates and himself chased him. Then he saw 2 pillars of a garage, he smiles at this. Peter, let's see what you think about this, idiot. Peter ran harder towards the pillars of the garage and before the astonished eyes of all the idiots including Flash. Peter ran with more force towards the pillars of the garage and before the astonished eyes of all the idiots including Flash. From above I saw how the 5 idiots looked at me in shock. Peter, what's up, kids? Too much for you? He smiles at them arrogantly. Guy 1, but how the hell could Parker do that? Guy 2, was that parkour? Parker? Parker knows how to do parkour? Flash, who the hell cares? Follow him. Peter smiles as he begins to run across the rooftops, then he sees the 5 idiots chasing him from the ground. They see some stairs leading to the rooftops. Without thinking twice they go up reaching the rooftops. Parker just smiles as he continues running, then he sees a distance between 2 houses. Peter, kids. If you're not gay, try this. Peter takes distance to start running and nothing more. Peter, whoa. Being able to get to the other side, he sees how Flash and the other idiots looked at the distance he jumped, they all looked nervous. Flash, Parker. You're not getting away. He takes distance to run with force and fortunately manages to jump successfully, but the last 2 of the 5 idiots who jumped did not make it and fell very badly to the ground. Peter, damn, those guys really got screwed. He sees Flash and 2 others who managed to chase him. He just kept running while he started jumping from roof to roof and the idiots kept up with him. While he was jumping he saw that he had reached the limit, there were no more roofs, and he heard some laughter behind him. He turned around. Flash, your luck's run out, Parker, he laughs while cracking his fists. His friends also rolled up their sleeves preparing to supposedly hit him. Peter just laughed lightly confusing them. Flash, what are you laughing at, loser? Have you lost your mind yet? Peter, you're the idiot here. Who said I'd hit my limit? He only sees the distance he was preparing to jump as he took distance. This surprised the 3 idiots. Flash, wait. Are you crazy? Are you going to? Peter, to infinity and beyond. And he starts running with all his strength just like that. Peter, whoa. Peter had jumped all that distance falling on some stairs that were on the other side. He turned around and saw Flash and the other two idiots who saw him from up there with shocked faces. Flash, Parker. Don't think this is over. Next time you won't be so lucky. The faggot and his two companions didn't find the courage to jump, and just hurled random insults at him. Peter, yeah, whatever you say. See you, faggots. And to top it off, I stick out my third finger. He calmly went down the stairs and walked home, saw a juice machine, put in $1 and took out a Coke, sat down on a nearby bench to take a break. And everything he did before? Well, simple. In his home world he had learned parkour. It was needless to say the pain he got when he failed a maneuver, but in the end he didn't give up and learned the extreme sport, and the fact that he is now as thin as Peter before the bite helped him with his agility, but he knew very well that things would change his life completely this Wednesday. That's when he heard a voice. There it is. Peter turned his gaze and saw Gwen, Laura and even Mary Jane approaching quickly. Mary Jane, Peter, are you okay? She took his hand. Peter, yes, don't worry, nothing happened, I said simply. Laura, nothing happened? Peter, that was amazing. She smiled at him. Peter, did you see me? Gwen, we only saw a little, we don't run as fast as you guys, but it was amazing what you did, when you learned to climb and do all those maneuvers and jumps. Peter, well, I've been learning parkour for 2 years, and I see that it was useful. Obviously he lied halfway. Mary Jane, what? Peter, I've been your neighbor for 3 years and I've hardly ever seen you leave the apartment. Peter, well, I didn't specifically practice during the day. He lied again. Gwen, are you okay? Didn't you hurt yourself or anything? She took his other hand. Mary Jane gave Gwen a quick glance and then ignored her. Peter, I already told you I'm fine, let's go, okay? Laura, yes, we attract a lot of attention. Peter, okay Charlie's Angels, let's go back. The three of them laughed at how he called them, then left. When he got home, he greeted May, went to his room and finished his homework, and he had plenty of time, so he used that free time for one little thing. To improve Veronica, he was giving her more access to the outside, something he knew she would need for the future. At night, Peter told May about MJ's invitation to dinner, so she undoubtedly accepted, but not before encouraging him to be closer to her blah blah blah. He just ignored her and went to his apartment. He was in front of his door. Peter was about to knock, but as soon as he made the first knock the door opened, suddenly showing a smiling MJ. The brunette was left with a WTF face. Me, hello. Mary Jane, I was waiting for you, come in. She took him by the hand and pulled him into the apartment where she lived with her Aunt Anna. Peter greeted her formally. MJ and I talked for a while, until Anna indicated that dinner was ready, so they went to the table, ate dinner, talked animatedly about high school and other things. After a while they finished dinner. Peter talked with MJ for a while, then said goodbye to her and returned to his apartment. Tuesday passed normally, nothing out of the ordinary, with one exception. Mary Jane arrived at the table that Peter shared with Gwen and Laura and sat down. She formally introduced herself to Gwen and Laura, who introduced themselves in the same way. Yesterday she joined the two to look for the brunette and they didn't introduce themselves or anything because of the rush to find him. Peter decides to talk. Peter, MJ, why did you sit here with us? I mean, you're one of the most popular in the class, and it wouldn't be good for you to sit with us. She sighs as she opens her mouth to speak. Mary Jane, all this time, I've done what you told me 3 years ago when we met again, that I should open up to others and that way I would form new bonds, make friends I could trust. But I discovered that I was only with hypocritical people. Liz and the others pointed at you and looked down on you for being someone intelligent. They insulted you behind your back. I couldn't stand that and I cut my ties with them, but apparently, they didn't care and just told me that that was my problem. They were just a bunch of superficial girls. Gwen and Laura remained silent as they listened intently. Peter, I never cared about other people's opinions and you know it, but, why are you defending me so much? I don't understand. Mary Jane, why? Are you really asking? 3 years ago when I got here, I felt insecure about opening up to others. When I saw you, I recognized you as the boy who played with me when I was 9. Despite the years, you also recognized me, you gave me advice, you helped me, I followed your advice, I made friends, or so I thought. They wanted to turn me into something that I wouldn't like to be. Besides, despite everything, you are still my first and best friend, you should know that. Gwen and Laura were surprised by what they heard. They looked at him directly, but could see admiration for him in their eyes, but ignored it. Peter, thanks, I think so. Laura, that's very noble, Peter. She smiles at him. Gwen, helping someone who felt insecure about the world, that's good Peter. She smiles at him back. Peter just shrugged as they continued talking, then they returned to class. After a few hours they finished. Peter and MJ returned together since they lived in the same apartment complex. They chatted on the way. He said goodbye to her and entered his apartment. May was not there, surely she would be working at the hospital. He did not give it importance, so he dedicated himself to continue improving Veronica, which he achieved after a few hours, because tomorrow was going to be the most important day of his entire life, and he had to be prepared. Peter, I think I'll go watch TV for a while. But before turning on the TV, I hear the door open. He turns to Aunt May. Hi honey, I'm back from work. Peter, hi May, I was just going to watch TV. Aunt May, oh yeah? What's up? She sits next to him as Peter turns on the TV. I wasn't expecting what I was going to see. CNN, breaking news. Dark clouds over Stark Industries. A few moments ago, news leaked that the billionaire genius Tony Stark was kidnapped after conducting an arms deal between Stark Industries and the Afghan army. A group of terrorists sent a video showing Mr. Stark imprisoned as a victim of these mercenaries. Right now Lieutenant Colonel James Rhodes is moving heaven and earth to try to locate Mr. Stark. We will keep you informed when more information is presented to us. Aunt May, oh my God, how terrible, she put her hand to her mouth. But Peter was stunned by what he saw and heard. This was it. Peter, shit. He's the Tony Stark of the MCU, so, this Earth 24616 is an alternate variant of the MCU. The events of Iron Man 1 have begun. He thought, totally shocked. Yes, what a tragedy, May, let's hope everything goes well. After a while they would have dinner and Peter would go to his room, while thinking about some things. Peter, I'm on an Earth with the events of the MCU, but there are also things from Spider-Man from the universe of Tobey Maguire, Andrew Garfield, and Tom Holland. This Earth has things that are from the MCU and at the same time that are not. Nah. What does it matter? Tomorrow is the most important day of my life, so I'll go to sleep. Without further ado, he fell asleep, calling it a day. The next day, the brown-haired boy would wake up, have breakfast, say goodbye to May and head to high school, where he met MJ and Laura. The two of them greeted him and got ready. Gwen was not present, she must be in Oscorp preparing to receive them. Then they all got on the school bus. Luckily for MJ she managed to sit next to Parker while Laura was in the back seat. The three of them talked throughout the trip. After an hour of travel, they had arrived at Oscorp Industries. Peter was surprised when he saw the building. The next day, the brown-haired boy would wake up, have breakfast, say goodbye to May and head to the high school, where he met MJ and Laura. The two of them greeted him and got ready. Gwen was not present, she must surely be in Oscorp preparing to receive him. Peter, wow, it's the same one from Andrew Garfield's universe, although in a way I expected it. After this the teacher guided them inside. Peter could not deny it. The interiors of Oscorp Industries were fascinating. They continued walking and found who would be their second guide. Peter smiles. Gwen, good morning classmates. As you already know, I'm Gwen Stacy, your classmate, and I'm also Dr. Kurt Connor's intern. I'll also be your guide during your visit to Oscorp. Don't leave my side of the family, that's the rule, just. Gwen, good morning classmates. As you already know, I'm Gwen Stacy, your classmate, and I'm also an intern of Dr. Kurt Connor's. I will also be your guide in charge during your visit to Oscorp. Do not separate from me, that's the rule. Without further ado, let's begin, follow me. After this, everyone would follow Gwen on the tour. Peter had to admit that all of this was wonderful. He felt like a kid in a candy store. Maybe being an intellectual was responsible for making him feel that way, but despite everything, he felt good and excited. Laura, geniuses, huh? I feel out of place here. She was on the left side. Mary Jane, I agree with you, although for Peter, this must be paradise, right, Tiger? She smiles at him and stands to his right. Peter, well, I'm not going to deny it, this place is incredible. They continued walking. They entered a room where there were several scientists doing their research. Then someone that Parker knew very well came out of a door. Connors, greetings Gwen. Gwen, Dr. Connors. Connors, good afternoon students, I'm Dr. Kurt Connors, and before you ask, yes, I'm deaf. Everyone laughed at it, but Peter felt bad for Connors. He wasn't a bad guy, it was just that the desperation to get his arm back was killing him and in the end he was corrupted, so he kept listening. Connors, but that's not an impediment, I'm a scientist, in the world I'm a great authority on herpetology. They are reptiles for those who don't know, but like Parkinson's patients who watch in horror as their body slowly betrays them. A man slowly with maculopathy whose eyes become more cloudy every day. I want to cure my problem, I want to create a world without weaknesses. Is there anyone who would like to guess how? Someone raises their hand. Connors, yes? Student, stem cells? Connors, promising, but the solution I'm looking for is more radical. Anyone else? Peter knew it well, it was his time. Peter, genetic crossbreeding. Everyone without exception saw him. Laura, Peter, what are you doing? She whispers next to me. Mary, bringing out their inner genius without a doubt, surprised them. Tiger. Peter continued speaking without stopping and under the attentive gaze of Connors and Gwen. Peter, Parkinson's disease is when the production of dopamine in the brain decreases, but the zebrafish has the ability to regenerate cells at will. If I could give that ability to the woman in question simply, she could be cured. Some murmured at his words, even our class teacher. Connors, interesting, and you are? Gwen, he's a classmate of mine, he's one of the brightest, the second best in the class. Peter, I feel insulted, I think, looking at the blonde. Connors, really? Peter, second, huh? Looks at Gwen. Gwen, yes, second. Peter, are you sure about that? Gwen, completely sure, she played along. Just then Connors' cell phone rings. Connors, I'm afraid duty calls, so I'll leave you in the capable hands of Miss Stacy. Nice to meet you. Without further ado, Connors would leave. This is where I noticed the damned butterfly effect. Gwen, well, follow me, we will continue with the tour. She turned around and started walking. Peter, what? But this, and the spider hologram? What? Shit. History is changing. He thought frustratedly as he walked. That's what Laura speaks about. Laura, did you see that? You surprised the scientist. Peter, it was just luck. Mary Jane, even though I didn't understand anything, well done Peter, she smiles at him. Peter, it's my talent, he smiles at her in the same way. After a few moments of walking, they arrived at another room, and when Peter saw it, he was confused. Me, what? But this is the development lab for Sam Raimi's Spider Universe. But why is it on this Earth? Gwen, this area may seem simpler, but that is because it is solely and exclusively in charge of the genetic development of the arachnid species. Follow me. They continued walking around the place, and without anyone noticing, Peter put a finger to his glasses that he was wearing, and pressed the button on the right side. Peter, time to test the advances I've given to my AI Veronica. Veronica, Mr. Parker. Peter, sneak into Oscorp's database and search for information on genetic crossbreeding, copy all the data and files related to that experiment, and send them to my home computer. Veronica, at your service, sir. Accessing the Oscorp database, infiltration of the Oscorp database successful, proceeding to copy data and files related to the genetic crossbreeding of species. Estimated time, 10 minutes. Peter, perfect. He would take off his glasses while Veronica did the work. They continued exploring the place under Gwen's supervision. Everyone saw the spiders that were locked up. Laura, spiders, huh? How scary, she saw a black spider trapped inside. Peter, hey, there are spiders that change color to blend in with the environment. It's like a defense system, you could have one in your hair without realizing it. Laura, hey, don't scare me like that, she whispered, frowning comically while running her hands through her hair. The line continued exploring other trapped spiders. Peter was beginning to despair. Peter, where is that spider? Shit. This one would calm down. He sees MJ seeing some spiders in the place. He smiles at seeing her while taking out a camera. Peter, hey American supermodel, can I take some pictures of you? For the memories. Mary Jane, oh Peter, sure, why not? I'm fine here. Peter, yeah, stay still. Click, click, click. Gwen from the other side managed to see the interaction of those two while she frowned slightly, but decided to focus on continuing to guide. Mary Jane, is that it? Me, yes, it is. Mary Jane, Peter? Are you okay? Me, He looked up. Peter felt a current on his face, then he surreptitiously looked up again, and saw a spider above him sliding in his direction. Badump. 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 His heart started to beat fast at this. Peter, my time has come. More photos. Mary Jane. Mary Jane, sure. Click, click, click. Peter, there you are my love. Mary Jane, Peter, I'll go see other places, see you later. She leaves but he wouldn't even listen to her, because of what was happening. Badump. 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 Peter, my life will change from now on. No matter what obstacles come my way, I will overcome them. I will destroy Parker. It had finally happened. Peter, it bit me, it finally bit me. My legend begins today. Yes. 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 Peter had finally received the spider bite. Today there would be a big change in his life, whether good or bad, he would overcome them all equally. He was so excited that he didn't realize that the spider had left. Peter, what? No. Where did she go? I need her to study her. Come on, spider, where are you? The chestnut tree would start looking at the ground, but nothing. He was not going to allow the spider to be crushed to death like in the other lands. Peter continues searching. While on the other side. Gwen, well, as you can see, this is a spider model capable of having a camouflage system to blend in with the environment, this with the specific purpose of AGH. Teacher, Miss Stacy, are you okay? I ask with concern. Gwen, yes, I'm fine, it's just that. I felt a sharp pain in my foot. She would rub that area. It must have been a cramp. Anyway, let's continue. Well, these arachnid species here are characterized by. Meanwhile, Peter continued searching for the person responsible for changing his life forever, and he continued looking at the ground, and that's it. Meanwhile, Peter would continue searching for the person responsible for changing his life forever. He would continue looking at the ground, and in that. Peter, there you are. Parker quickly took a small bottle out of his pants pocket and managed to capture the spider without anyone noticing. He quickly closed the bottle and put it in his pocket. Peter, mission accomplished. He thought with a smile of victory. He would continue the tour returning with MJ and Laura. After a moment, he would receive a vibration in his pockets. He already knew what it was. He took out his glasses and put them on. Peter, Veronica, please report. Veronica, the process of duplicating information and data on genetic crossbreeding has been successful. All the information was sent without any problem to your home computer. Peter, Prefect, thank you Veronica. Veronica, I am here to serve. He would take off his glasses as they were reaching the end of the route. Mary Jane, all this science stuff is very complex. Laura, I definitely feel out of place here. Peter, ha, come on, it's not that bad, you just have to. At that moment, a slight headache would come to him out of nowhere. Peter, it's already started, he thought seriously. Mary Jane, Peter, are you okay? I asked worriedly. Peter, yeah, it was just a slight dizziness, he said trying to sound normal. Laura, sure? Peter, absolutely, we better go, the tour is over. They both nodded as they left. The brunette began to feel chills in his body. He couldn't let anyone notice, he had to return home alone. But before leaving I heard a scientist say to who appeared to be her superior. Woman, sir, there's a spider missing. Man, okay, I want you to seal off the place immediately. Peter would just smile as he left the room. After a while everyone would leave Oscorp, everyone would go their separate ways. Laura would go home, who knows where she lived. MJ decided to take the rest of the day to have fun in the city. Peter doesn't see Gwen leave, but he didn't give it importance. He immediately calls a taxi, gets in and gives her the direction heading to her home. Peter, shit, I'm starting to feel fever, I think, feeling my eyesight heavy. After a few moments he would arrive at his home. He paid the ride and walked quickly until he reached his apartment. Upon entering he finds May watching TV. May, honey, you're back, how did the expedition to Oscorp go? Peter, hi May, it went well. Hey, I'm a little tired, so I'll go to sleep, okay? He said with regret in his voice. May, what? But it's only 2 p.m. Peter, I'm a little sleepy, and I want to rest, see you. May, don't you want to eat something first? Peter, no, I'm fine, see you May, he said going to his room. May, what will happen to him? Peter, upon entering his room, quickly takes out the jar that had the radioactive spider and puts it in a drawer in his desk. Peter, how hot, it's too hot. He would take off his shirt while feeling continuous dizziness. Peter, now, I have chills all over my body. He would hug himself feeling his body tremble violently. Peter was too dizzy and now felt feverish out of nowhere. He couldn't stand it anymore and let himself fall onto the bed while covering himself. Peter, tomorrow, everything will change. Without further ado he fell into a long, deep sleep. Next day 7 a.m. Peter would give a big yawn as he stretched. Peter, holy shit, what happened last night? He would get out of bed, but then he noticed how his vision had completely improved. He looked everywhere and saw everything clearly. Peter, well, no more glasses. The brunette was about to get changed, but as he passed by the full-length mirror, he suddenly came back, looking at himself in total shock. Peter, this is it. He would start to pose. This was not a dream, he was witnessing his new body strengthened by the spider. Peter, this is what my love wanted so much. His new muscles were neither too big nor too small, they were balanced, they were perfect. Then I hear the door. May, Peter? Said from the other side. Peter, oh, yeah May? May, are you okay? Peter, me? I'm doing very, very well. I'm doing great. May, did you wake up feeling better? Has anything changed? Peter, change? Yes. A big change. May, well hurry up and change, or you'll be late. Peter, of course. At that he smiles. Peter, time to show my new self. He heads to the bathroom to wash his face, but when he goes to use the toothpaste, just by squeezing a little, it all comes out at once, staining the mirror. Peter, oops, my mistake. Peter would like to open the sink faucet, but accidentally breaks it, causing a leak. Peter, shit. I said, wetting myself. He takes a towel and places it on the leak, covering it. He wanted to get out, but he breaks the doorknob. Peter, damn. He said with the goatee in his hand. He would try to leave through the other door. Peter, no exclamation mark ... Very carefully, he gently opens the door and leaves. Once outside, he changes and heads to the living room, where he finds May. May, good morning, darling, she said smiling. Peter, good morning May, he reciprocated the greeting. May, hey, nice clothes, they look great on you, I've never seen them before. Peter, thanks May, I bought it with my allowance, I think it was time to upgrade. May, it definitely looks better on you than the baggy clothes you had, I like it, well, be careful I'm cleaning, she mopped the floor. Peter, okay May, I'm just going to. Bang, spider. He quickly turns around and catches May who had slipped and was about to hit her head on the table. Peter, what the fuck? He thought in shock at what he did. May, wow, Peter. What reflexes, thanks, darling. She said smiling and recovering, I must be more careful. Peter, yes May, you're welcome, he saw his hands. He would only have breakfast and after that he would grab his things and go to the academy. On the way. Peter, what was that? Out of nowhere I felt some kind of shock in my brain, something like a stabbing, and I acted on my instinct. The spider sense? That was the spider sense? It must have been it, I avoided an accident, that was amazing. Ha. I woke up the spider sense. Great. He was happily going to the academy, but then another thought came to his head. Peter, wait a minute. If the spider sense is activated, then... Parker then changed his route and headed for a lonely alley. When he saw that there was no one there, he calmed down. Peter, let's see. This precedes seeing his hand, more precisely his fingers, and when doing so I am in shock. Small protuberances resembling spider claws began to emerge from his fingers, which left him in shock. Peter, great, but at the same time disturbing. He looks at the wall, I look at his fingers, he tries to calm down while he sighs. Peter, okay, here I go. Ready for what was going to happen, he brought his hand closer to the wall, and without waiting any longer. Tap. Peter, this is. Peter, this is it. This is. Peter, incredible. Peter excitedly begins to climb the wall, he couldn't believe what he was doing at that moment, he was literally climbing the wall, he was already halfway up the wall to reach the top, but he only thinks about one thing. Peter, this is going to get out of control. A little while later. Peter, whoa. Peter, I jumped all that? 10 meters. Holy shit. He would start running from building to building, jumping distances impossible for an ordinary person. His joy was so great that he couldn't help but scream with excitement. After a while, he reached the limit when he saw that there were no more buildings to jump over. Peter, that was amazing. At that he looks at his hands excitedly. Peter, great. He looks down and sees that he was about 10 stories above the ground, but for some reason he didn't feel any fear, he looked at an empty alley where there was no one. And he jumped. He literally jumped from those 10 stories high to the ground, and to his total shock he fell without any damage to his body and on one knee. Peter, my first perfect superhero landing. Then he saw his watch and turned pale. Peter, shit. I'm late. He starts running with everything he has, and to his surprise, he was going very fast, at the same speed as a car. He was literally running at that speed. Peter was impressed. The people who saw him were shocked by the speed he was going, and on the streets, the people who were driving were left with their mouths open when they saw him run and keep up with their cars. He just smiled at them while waving his hand. After a few moments, I finally arrive at the academy. Peter, I ran nonstop, and I'm not sweaty or tired at all, and I have 5 minutes left. Points for Peter Parker, yes. He walked into the academy calmly and happily, but then he noticed everyone staring at him, especially at the feminine side, which confused him. Peter, what's wrong with you? Why are you staring at me so much? I ask, mentally confused. At that moment he feels someone touch his shoulder. He turns around and sees a beautiful head of blonde hair. Gwen, hello Peter. Peter, hey Gwen, hey, do you know why everyone looks at me so much? Tilda, he asks her in a whisper. Gwen, well, maybe it's because, I don't know, maybe you changed your way of dressing to something more comfortable and modern and. She blushes. Peter, so? Asks interested. Gwen, and, you show a body that nobody expected you to have, she said with a red tint on her cheeks. Peter, do you think so? Do I look good? And do you think I have a good body? He asks, smiling. Gwen, yeah, you look good and all, very good, she said without removing her blush. Peter, your words to me are like dreams of daisies that brighten my day, Gwendolyn. Gwen, oh silly, no exaggeration. Out of nowhere she stopped as she stared at him. Peter, Gwen? Are you okay? She didn't respond, but he could see her starting to smell the air as her gaze toward him began to change. Peter, Gwen? She just sees him as he begins to pant. Parker is confused to see that, but then he sees how without saying anything she takes him by the hand and begins to lead him who knows where. Peter, Gwen, wait. Where are you taking me? She didn't respond and continued pulling him. After a few moments they reached some stairs where there was no one. Peter, hey Gwen, can you tell me what he does? But he would be interrupted when out of nowhere Gwen jumped on top of him sitting on the steps. He was surprised by what the blonde did, but what happened next he did not expect at all. Gwen, Peter, forgive me. Peter, but what? It wasn't a dream. The beautiful Gwendolyn Stacy herself was giving him a deep kiss on the lips. He couldn't believe what was happening at that moment. During the kiss, he saw her eyes and they reflected lust? For him? But why? But fuck. I'm not stupid. Peter, Gwen Stacy is kissing me. I'm not wasting this. I'm not Prince Parker. No, sir. Let's take advantage of the bug. Peter reciprocated the kiss while grabbing the back of her neck, deepening the kiss. He could feel Gwen trying to put her tongue in his mouth. Whoa. This is more given by men. But fuck. The kiss turned passionate as their tongues met. Peter lifts Gwen and sits her on his lap while they continued kissing. They were totally involved in a complete makeout session. He decided to be more daring and brought his hands to Gwen's waist. She in response began to bring her hands under his shirt, directly touching his new and improved torso. He could see the surprise in her eyes. Peter decides to take a break while he slightly separates her from him and looks at her. Peter, Gwen, what was all that?
Gwen, I don't know, out of nowhere I felt I don't know, something different about you, and, Peter, please don't think anything bad about me, okay?
Believe me, I'm not usually like that. The brown-haired boy just caresses her hair while smiling at her. Peter, I would never think badly of you, Gwen. In fact, I love this new side of you that I discovered, he said, smiling. Gwen, really? I asked, surprised. Peter, sure, and tell me, do you want to stop? Gwen, oh no. I don't want to. She can't hold back and kisses him again with the same passion as before. Peter just hugs her tightly while she hugs him by the neck. I decide to cross my limits and take a risk. He puts his hands under her skirt and gives her butt a hard squeeze. She lets out a soft moan. He could see how she looked at him with pure desire. He didn't know what was happening, but he loved it. Gwen, I didn't know you were so daring, Peter Parker. She smiles at him lustfully. Peter, says the woman who is touching my nipples right now. Gwen, what? She sees his hands, and indeed, they were under the brown-haired man's shirt, directly touching his hard pectorals. Gwen, I'm sorry, she apologized, but I could feel she wasn't really sorry. Peter, don't do it, I'm a bad boy too. Bang. He spanks her ass, she moans at this while smiling at him in a different way and kissing him again. They kissed and groped each other's bodies for 10 minutes, they knew they would be late for class, but because of this, of course Peter didn't give a damn about punctuality. Afterwards they decided to control themselves, more so on Gwen's part, and then they headed to the classroom. Needless to say, the teacher called them out for being late, but Parker didn't give a damn, and he could see in Gwen's eyes that she didn't give a damn either. After this, she sat down in her place while Laura was talking to her. Laura, what happened? Where were you? Why did you and Gwen get home late? Peter, we were helping each other, that's why it's been so long, he said simply. Laura, well, never mind, by the way, nice clothes, they suit you. Peter, thanks Laura. The classes continued, but on some occasions, Gwen turned to look at the brunette, and when he saw her, he saw how she smiled at him while sensually biting her nail. He didn't know what was happening to Gwen, but he didn't complain at all. He also noticed how she smelled more than usual while letting out a sigh. Peter, I feel like I've seen this somewhere, but where? But she didn't give it any importance, with Gwen, while she was writing. Gwen, oh no, not again. She had her pen stuck to her hand. After a few hours later, the three of them met for lunch, then she saw Mary Jane coming towards them while smiling at them. They greeted her, she was going to sit down. Hang. Peter, as Mary Jane had slipped and was about to fall, quickly got me up and. Many students at other tables were amazed at what he did. Laura and Gwen were speechless, and MJ. Mary Jane, wow, Peter. What reflexes? She was very surprised. Peter, what can I say, I'm very perceptive, he smiles at her. Mary Jane, I notice, hey Peter, you have blue eyes, I hadn't noticed, do you wear contact lenses? Peter, what? I would take out my glasses and through the reflection I could see that indeed, my eyes had turned blue. Peter, why did my eyes change color? Mary Jane, Peter? Peter, oh yeah, they were always like that, you just didn't realize, I said it lying. Mary Jane, maybe, sorry about that. Peter, it doesn't matter. Mary Jane, Peter. Peter, yes? Mary Jane, you keep grabbing me. He would realize that he was still holding her by the waist. Peter, does it bother you? Mary Jane, no, I don't mind, she smiles at him. Peter, then that's enough. Peter let go and they sat down. Laura praised him for his ability, but Parker noticed how Gwen looked suspiciously at MJ. Peter, things are going to get very interesting from now on. After a while they finished lunch and went their separate ways to other classes. Gwen was seen at her locker collecting some things while frowning. Gwen, who does this Watson think she is? I could see in her eyes that she's interested in Peter. Just because they've known each other since they were kids doesn't mean she has an advantage. Do you want to play, Watson? Let's play. She closed her locker, I won't make it easy for you. Boom. Out of jealousy, she had hit her locker, but her anger changed in surprise when she saw how she had almost completely bent the door of her locker. Two students who were next to her moved away from her out of nerves, while Gwen, but what? She looked at her hands, what's happening to me? After a few more hours of class, they would end and everyone would go home. Peter then arrived at his apartment and saw that May was not there. He decided to do his homework and after 1 hour he would finish. The brunette was lying on the table while thinking about some things. Peter, I already have Spider-Man's powers, but now what? I'll be a hero, that's obvious, but where do I start? Then he sees his hand and pretends to throw out a spider web. Peter, much to my relief, I don't have organic webbing. I used to like it, but when I read Marvel Zombies, my opinion changed. Wait a minute, webbing. That's it. Now I know where to start. At that moment he saw the table and it had several chemicals of different kinds, typical of an intellectual. Then he opened a drawer and saw many used wristwatches that were no longer useful. He smiled. Peter, it will be a challenge, but I won't give up. He immediately got to work. He started creating the web shooter. He used Reed Richards' skills to create the web shooters. They had to be light and practical. He removed the straps from the watches as well as the handles and kept only the metal dials of the watches. Peter already knew well what kind of web shooter he was going to create. It only took him 5 hours to finish creating what he wanted so much. He observes his achievement with a smile of pride. Peter, I did it. I was able to create Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man web slinger, and the best part is, it only took me 5 hours. Peter, I did it. I was able to create Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man web slinger, and the best part is, it only took me 5 hours. The clear difference is that the web launcher was made black instead of blue. Peter, okay, now for the hardest part, the spider web formula. He immediately saw many different chemicals, sighed and began to work. He began theorizing the chemical chain necessary to produce cobwebs. He came to the conclusion that it was liquid, but at first contact with the outside air it would solidify and become sticky for obvious reasons. It was a little difficult, but not impossible, elastic and almost unbreakable structure. Those were the qualities that he had in mind for the cobweb he wanted to have. He started by mixing several chemicals of different types. He almost caused an explosion in the room by mixing the wrong substances. This challenge took him approximately 2 full days. It was no joke. Once he managed to make the correct mixture, all that was left was to solidify it on the outside. For this he used the kitchen microwave for 30 seconds. After that he had in his hand a small white capsule, solid on the outside, but liquid on the inside. After that he put the capsule in the web shooter cartridge and tied them to his wrists. Peter, well, it took me 2 whole days to create the supposed spider webs. I hope it works and doesn't explode in my face. At that moment he would see an empty can on a nightstand. Parker stared at it, pointed his hand towards it, and pulled a small string that was on the web shooter towards my hand. Twip. He was surprised. A white spider web had come out of the device and stuck to the can. It worked, it worked. At that he pulls forward, causing the can to fly towards him and catch it. Peter, amazing, I did it, I created my own cobwebs. I did it. Then he threw a spider web at the wall and stared at it. After 20 minutes, he saw how it began to dissolve like dust in the wind. Peter, apparently the web limit is 20 minutes, okay. After that, he leaves the apartment towards a specific place. After about 20 minutes of walking he arrives at his destination, an abandoned factory. Peter, I need to train if I want to become Spider-Man. For starters, the gym wouldn't help me get stronger anymore, I need something heavier. Apparently it was an old car factory, there were rusty engines and many hooked chains. Peter smiles, it looked a lot like the factory where Andrew Garfield's Peter practiced. The days passed, he forgot to mention that Gwen had apologized for her behavior and promised to control herself. Peter did not give it importance and accepted her. Although he could see how she looked at him surreptitiously and bit her lips, he definitely saw that aspect somewhere, but he does not remember where. Anyway, he spends his new skills. He started with his agility. He did maneuvers and jumped from high places, falling like Spider-Man. Apparently his agility was the same as Andrew Garfield's. Then he concentrated on his speed. He used the attached chains and began to swing from one side to the other with great speed. He did not feel fear, but rather excitement. But he realized that he was very fast. If he had to compare himself to someone, he would say he had the same speed as Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Peter, agile and fast, I like it. But how strong will I be? At that moment he saw the rusty engines and an idea came to him. He decided to hook the chains to the engines, and then he had a chain in his hand that was connected to an engine. Peter, let's see how strong I am. Without further ado, he starts to continuously pull the chain, and after 10 seconds of effort, he manages to slowly raise the engine until he manages to raise it all. Peter was with his mouth open at his achievement and then laughed with excitement. Peter, wow, it's incredible, it's like my strength is like Tobey Maguire's, but I know he can give more in terms of strength. Don't fuck with me. I look at my hands, the strength of Tobey Maguire, the agility of Andrew Garfield and the speed of Tom Holland. It seems like I have 3 sources in one, but why? My father Richard, the experiments he did on me when I was a baby must be the answer, there can be no other explanation. Peter wouldn't give the matter any more turns and would return home after a light and short training. He spent a whole month training hard on those 3 attributes that he had, and the results were incredible. He became more agile, faster, and stronger. He knew very well that this would be useful to him in the future. As for the girls, his relationship is still good with them. Gwen apparently was a little more normal. It seemed that she learned to control herself from what she knows happened to her. Peter was now the first in the class. A bit of a hard blow for Gwen, but she got over it well. One day she was at home while Parker was thinking about something very serious. Peter, it's about time. The world should know Spider-Man. I think seriously, but I don't have money to make the suit, and I'm not going to ask May, not with the debts she has, which reminds me, I need a part-time job to help her with this, he sighed. He picks up the day's Daily Bugle and starts looking for a way to earn money for the suit. Peter, that's it. Need money? Are you an amateur wrestler? Earn $30,000 in the ring for 3 minutes. Costume required. Peter would smile at the irony of this announcement. He already knew which universe it came from, and he can only say one thing. Peter, let the mayhem begin. To his surprise, he would find a red sweatshirt in Uncle Ben's clothes. Peter would start to modify it with a black spray. Peter, the pants are no problem, but the mask. I still have time, I'll sew one by machine. The good thing is that there is red fabric, size, all the things one has to learn if one wants to survive in the world. After a while he goes out to the living room ready to go. Peter, and May, you're back. May, yes, honey, I came back 10 minutes ago, she said, smiling at him. Peter, well, I'll go to the library, I'll be back tonight, he said, lying. May, okay, but be careful. He nods and then leaves the house. He felt bad for lying to May, but he knew well that from now on he would have to lie to her many times, so he would have to get used to it. After a long while he arrives at the place of amateur wrestling, in that he arrives to sign up. After a while he was ready since his turn had come, in that he sees how the guy with the microphone approaches me. Presenter, boy, what is your name? This one with a big smile under the mask would say. Peter, the spectacular Spider-Man, Spider. Presenter, not bad. He would walk away. Man, the sum of $3,000 will be given to the terrifying, the bloodthirsty, the spectacular Spider-Man. The tents would be raised, revealing. Yes, he made the same costume and face paint as Tobey Maguire, but the difference was that the pants were black instead of blue, as were the gloves. Peter, here I go. He would start walking while listening to the insults and mockery of the people, many saying stupid things about how he would lose and all that. What idiots. Peter, now you see. Peter then starts running towards the ring and does a great spinning jump, landing on the platform. Everyone around was surprised by this, but then they continued insulting, believing that it was just luck. Presenter, lower the cage. At that moment, a huge cage covers the entire ring, and he only thinks one thing. Peter, I mustn't use so much force or I'll be in trouble. He would activate a stopwatch on his wristwatch with a 3-minute mark. Presenter, start. The bell rings. Peter, come quietly, I won't hurt you, I said in a deep voice. Fighter, you're very brave, kid. But tonight you're going down. Peter, you'll see my promotion. The guy would come running to him quickly to hit him, but before his eyes. Peter, wow, everything looks so slow, he thought in surprise. At that point he ducks down and sweeps him, causing the fighter to fall. Peter, oh, but how easy, he said with a yawn. The guy gets up and quickly throws himself at Parker, trying to hit him several times, but Peter with his new agility would dodge them without any problem. He tries to throw himself on top of the brown-haired man, but quickly shows his web shooters on his wrists, throwing 2 spider webs up, swinging on top of him, making him pass by. 1 minute, the stopwatch rang. Peter sees the wrestler who was given a chair to try to hit him. He lunges to hit me on the back, but Peter just ducks and does another sweep, making him fall. Peter, I would do this all day, he said, smiling under the mask. The fighter stands up and looks at him angrily. Fighter, enough games, it's time to end this. Peter, I have other concerns. Fighter, none greater than this. He sees how they pass him an iron bar. Peter just watches without flinching. He rushes to attack him, but Peter just dodges again without any problem. This somewhat bored gives a small jump and kicks him directly in the face, making him retreat. But when he looks ahead, he sees how the brown-haired man runs towards him and does the brutal spear that Roman Reigns from Raw does, ramming him to the ground. He felt like he was short of breath. Peter, that was amazing. 2 minutes, stopwatch rang. He only saw the man who was barely getting up. Peter, 1 more minute and I'll get it. Peter sees how the fighter gets up. While grabbing the iron bar again, he angrily launches himself to try to hit him, but Parker just dodges him with great agility and without getting tired. Peter, 30 seconds have passed, he said, quickly looking at his watch. The subject tries to throw himself on top of the chestnut tree, but he just moves to the side, causing him to fall hard. Peter, the bigger you are, the worse the fall, I thought seriously. Peter, 20 seconds, looked at the clock. Peter sees how the guy gets up and grabs the chair again and runs towards him to try to hit him. He just steps back, avoiding the blows while he was desperate. Peter, 10 seconds, looked at the clock. He quickly gives him a strong blow to the face that made him step back and apparently left him somewhat stunned. Since he was moving from one side to the other, maybe he used a little too much force. 3 minutes, stopwatch rang. Peter, now. He quickly goes to the fighter and gives him another blow to the face, followed by one to the stomach, and to finish, using his new strength, he easily lifts him and throws him forcefully against the cage. Referee, 1, 2, 3, he's out. Peter had won. Announcer, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give it up for the new champion. The spectacular Spider-Man. He just smiled as he heard the shouts of support and applause from the people. Peter, and this is just the beginning of what's coming to me in the future, he thought, smiling under his mask. After a few moments later, as Parker had fulfilled the 3-minute rule, he would receive the full $3,000, so he would leave the office with the money in hand. Peter arrived at an elevator, went in that. "Hey! Stop that thief!" Peter would turn around seeing a thief running towards the elevator. He knew what scene this was. Peter, oops. He quickly puts his foot down, causing the thief to fall, allowing the police who were chasing him to catch him. "Police, well done, kid," he said with a smile. Peter, "No problem." He just turns around while hearing the screams of the annoyed thief. Peter just smiles at it. A while later, he had left the place and passed by the library walking calmly, until... Surprise! Peter, hearing a voice, turns around. "May, hello honey." Peter, "May? What are you doing here?" I ask, surprised. "May, well, I wanted to surprise you, also, we'll go out to dinner, come on, there's a KFC nearby." She took his hand as they left, but Peter felt the blood rush to his feet as his face paled. "Peter, if I hadn't stopped the thief, May could have died. Sometimes a person has to make decisions, and whether those decisions are for better or worse, you have to accept them no matter what.